This show is a proud member of the Blue Collar Roots Network and is created for professionals and people who know what they're doing already. The opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the network or the sponsors. Do everything according to government regulations, OSHA safety practices, and manufacturer listing and labeling instructions. Not just because someone said so on a podcast. Now, on with the show.
You're listening to the Tool Pros Podcast.
You might catch them looking at their phones during their kids' recitals and find they are looking at the Measure Quick app. Billy Noth and Brent Ridley.
Hello and welcome to the Tool Pros Podcast. This is your host, Brent Ridley, sitting virtually next to my co-host, like always, Billy Noth. How you doing, Billy?
Really, really good. How about you?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. That was a really, you put two reallys on that. You emphasized that big time.
It was a good week. I got a day off because it was a snow day, and I wussed out and stayed home. And then I got to do a lot of bouncing back and forth between install and service and stuff this week. So it was a nice, refreshing change of pace.
Very cool. Now, Billy, when it snows, is it your choice to stay home, or does the boss man not give you? How does that work? The boss doesn't make you come in?
I'm sure he would prefer if we came in, but my daughter was out. The school was closed, so my wife wasn't going into work. So I said, forget it, I'm staying home. There wasn't a lot going on. We started to slow down probably about a month ago. And usually until about, I guess, till about the end of this month is their kind of slow period. So if there's not a lot of work out there, I'm not going to go racing around in the snow trying to get to a rooftop maintenance that they want me to do. So I'll do that on the nice day.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. Your safety is much more important than that. I didn't know whether they wanted you to come to work or not. Okay, we don't get snow here like you guys do here in Atlanta. A few times a year we get a couple inches of snow, and it's enough to shut the damn city down. But every time my guys always call me and say, hey, are we working today? I just tell them, hey, if there's snow in the morning, just give me a call. We'll see what it's like. I kind of usually try to get up early. I go out in my personal pickup truck, which is a four-wheel drive, and I test the roads out, and I see how it is. And if at that point I feel like it's unsafe to be out in my vans, I tell the guys, y'all just stay home, and then we'll start again tomorrow kind of thing. But that's cool that you do kind of have the option. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's use up your time. And if for whatever reason the shop does decide to close, at that point, then we'll get paid anyway. So that's kind of a cool benefit. But yeah, it doesn't happen that often.
Let's get into today's topic. Today, what we did is we did another Ask Us Anything is what we want to do here today. We made a couple posts on Instagram and on Facebook about Ask Us Anything, any questions that you want, tool related, not tool related, anything you guys want to hear about. We wanted you to post it, and we'll answer them to the best of our ability of what we can do. I'm going to start off with some of these questions on Instagram. There's a guy here. His name is Barkamex18, and he says, I'm curious what your policy is for tools or boots at the company you're at now. I've been through a few companies, but I've always bought my own tools since I could use my dad's account without using my boss's. Now I'm set up to go on my own and have just about everything. I'm eyeing up that Zoom lock, though. I guess this question is, what is your policy for tools and boots for your company right now?
Boots are on us. That's, I guess, not part of the uniform, but required. So that's kind of on us since everybody likes what they like. They're not going to provide them. Tool-wise, any of the big tools the company will provide. If they don't have them, they seem to be pretty good about going out and get them. I know the company I was at before, if I needed something, my boss would just go out and get it. But I've been very, very lucky since starting the YouTube channel and the podcast with you. I've come into quite a few tools that there's no way I would have been able to afford at the time that I got them, between the iManifold, the iConnect, the Testo probes, the Fieldpiece probes, everything, the Testo 550s. Well, that's all stuff that was given to me to play with, and I've been able to keep most of the stuff that I've gotten. So as far as the big ticket tools, the company I'm at now, they're pretty good about that. Anything, say, from your torches down to your hand tools, I would think that would be kind of most obvious things that would be more on the technician to bring to the table.
Do you have some kind of tool account that you can work at? Like you could buy tools and kind of like an interest-free loan that you could get from the company or some kind of deal like that?
They do have some kind of a tool program. I don't know exactly how that all works because I really haven't needed anything. But you bring that up, and I was actually just thinking about that the other day and wanted to get more information about that, like how that all works. I know the company my dad was at, they would put, what was it, $100 a month in an account for him. So at the end of the year, if he hadn't used any of it, he can go out and buy himself a $1,200 tool. And that was on the company. I don't know exactly if that's the way this company works, but I'm sure as hell going to find out.
Yeah, that'd definitely be something to kind of check into. I'd be all over that personally. But the way we do things here at the company, because I own a company with my father. We own a plumbing and heating and air conditioning company. My father runs all of the plumbing side of the company. I run all of the heating and air conditioning side because he has a plumbing license. I have a heating and air conditioning license. We've been really small for the last several years. We were pretty small. It was myself, my father, and then one other guy. So of course, we would buy boots for the guy who worked for us, and it was on us. And any tools that fella needed, we provided it, even down to hand tools. But we've hit a really good growth period here over the last 2 years, and we've since hired on 5 more guys. So at this point, we haven't been providing boots for the guys because it's just everybody has different preferences. But yes, that's part of their company uniform. They need to wear some boots. I'm not even a stickler for boots because we don't do like industrial work or heavy commercial. We do just light commercial and residential HVAC and plumbing, but they need to wear some kind of rugged. See, I wear the Merrell work shoe. They're not necessarily a boot, but they're a waterproof work shoe that are real tough and rugged. So I would suggest something like that. But then as far as tools go, we provide all the larger tools. On the HVAC side, I provide the recovery machine, the vacuum pump, the torches. I provide a scale because I want them to use it. So things like that. The rest of the stuff is really on the technician to have their own, and I expect them to have their own. We're in the process of trying to set up some kind of tool account thing where they can go buy the tool and then they pay it back over a monthly period, like $50 a week or however much. We just take it out of their check, and that way they can have the tools they need and they just pay us back as they go. That's the way a company did that I worked for previously before I came to work with my dad. So I like the way that worked because I always had something on my tool account that I was paying for since probably the first week I was there. So I just never even saw that extra $50. So I knew it wasn't going to be there. So I never missed it. I want to incorporate something like that. And we're in the process. I was talking to the woman who handles all our books and everything like that about incorporating some of that. So I think that's a good way to handle things.
Now, as far as the tools that you carry personally, are they the same type of tools that you would provide, or are they just more of a generic, like a scale? Like Ralph had the Infocon one that was donated to him so he could review it and whatnot. If that was your go-to scale, is that something that you would provide for the rest of them, or is it just more of a run-of-the-mill type of tool for them?
I'm a stickler for quality tools. I really am. And obviously we do a whole podcast. We sit here and talk about it 30 minutes a week about tools. So I'm a stickler for tools, and I always buy quality tools. As far as the scale, I buy the field piece. I think it's the SRS3 or something like that. I've been using that one for a while. That's what I bought for my other HVAC guy. And I definitely buy the same quality tools that I have on my truck. I want to have on the other guy's trucks because I want them to have the same advantages that I do.
Okay.
Tom Fixes Things on Instagram. He says, what are y'all's everyday carry items when you aren't working? When y'all are traveling on vacation, what do you take with you? Like what's in your pocket kind of every day when you aren't working kind of deal, Billy?
My wallet and my keys, because everything is left at home. I'm kind of bad with that. I don't tend to carry much with me for the simple fact that I don't really want to do things when I don't have to. It's gotten me into a few binds here and there, but we happened to be in Virginia and we were at a timeshare, and they had a little hot tub room right off the back of the suite we were in. And the hot tub happened to be broken, apparently. I had whatever I could find in my truck at the time, tool-wise, and I started playing with it and monkeying around with it, and I actually got the hot tub fixed and fired up while we were there. I think we were the only people on that side of the timeshare that actually had a running hot tub. But that was one of the times that it was like, oh, I really wish I had my backpack because I would have had everything right there. And I know guys like Steven Raridan, every time he's away and he posts a video, the man's got his tools with him. I haven't gotten that far into it yet, where I travel with my tools. What about you?
When I am not working, I pretty much carry around the same things in my pocket as if I were working. So in my direct front pockets, I carry, of course, my chucks. I got the 5/16, a 1/4-inch chuck. I got a 3/8 chuck in there. Even lately, somehow a few of the service wrench keys have gotten in there. So I've been carrying those around lately. And that's on one side. The other pocket I normally carry, I have a knife, and then I usually have a RevMark Sharpie in the pocket just for whatever reason. It's always in the front pocket there. And that's about it. Now, during the work week, I carry my Leatherman on my belt that goes on the side. I don't carry my Leatherman around when I'm not working. That's just kind of one of those things that's only there when I'm working. What about when you work, Billy? Do you carry some things in your pocket when you work?
Generally, no. I don't like having a lot of things in my pockets because I'm always one for pulling tools out of my bag while I'm working, and they always wind up in my pocket. And then it weighs down your pants, and it gets to be awkward. And
Gets to be awkward because your pants are falling off in front of the customer?
yeah, that too. It's just one of those, you can only cinch that belt so tight, and no matter how many tools you put in there, it ain't going to get any lighter. So
I do run into a little bit of that. I wear jeans every day just because I don't like the way some of these work pants fit. They just don't fit me very well. I buy some nice Levi's and I wear them to work every day. It gets expensive. I'll roll through a pair of Levi's about once every 3 months, but it's what I wear and it's what's comfortable. So by the end of the day, the denim has stretched out and they're starting to sag a little bit every day. No matter how form-fitting they are at the beginning of the morning, during the afternoon, they're still stretched out. And yeah, the stuff in the pockets does kind of weigh them down a little bit.
I hate having tools in my pocket, especially my back pocket, where when I was wearing, like you, wearing Levi's, and I'd have my Linesmans or my Dykes or something in the back pocket. It's just in and out of the pocket all day doing whatever wiring. And I felt like I would wear through the pocket so fast. And then there's a hole in the pocket. And then it's like, well, now you can't put crap in there. And it's...
I know, I'm with you. It's funny. There's a guy, technician I hired. He's been with me about 6 months now. The technician I hired, he says he can't have anything in his pockets either. He's kind of the same way. He doesn't even wear his wallet in his pocket. He doesn't have his keys in his pocket. He has nothing in his pockets during when he's working. To me, it's just kind of a thing where I know I got my chucks in my pocket all the time, no matter what. They're there. And I know they're easy to find. And I use them so much. That's kind of my thing. And we've talked about the Leatherman deal, how I feel about that. But I understand your feelings on the Leatherman also.
Yeah, you mean the death tool.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, if you don't know what Billy's talking about, go back several episodes and listen to... What episode would that be in, Billy? Do you know?
I don't remember which one that one was in. But yeah, the one that there's a nice public service announcement about don't use a Leatherman on live wires.
That's right. So check it out, guys. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, BarkhamX18 has another question. He said, what do you think are ingredients for a great atmosphere at work? What have you done personally to contribute to it as well? Go ahead, Billy. What do you think makes a good atmosphere at work?
I think the one thing, and I was just having this conversation with one of the installers today, is communication. I feel like communication is key amongst everyone, whether it's from your dispatcher to even the girl running the books in the office to the service manager to the owner of the companies. There needs to be communication, and not so much that you have to, I guess, step up the ladder with the communication, like not to have to go from the service tech to the service manager and then wait for him to find out issues, to be able to just go to whoever you need to find out anything that you need. I guess more of a family atmosphere with open communication, I think, is a big key to it being a profitable one.
I absolutely agree with that 100%. I try to be open and communicate with all of my guys as easy as possible. Even if they do something I don't agree with, I try to talk to them in a constructive way, in a positive way, and tell them, okay, I disagree with the way you did this because this is the way I would like it done. And in my attitude, I try to keep the attitude positive throughout the day. Even if everything's falling apart around you, you got a million fires to put out. If you have a good attitude, that comes off so differently than if you're angry and have a bad attitude and things like that. I think just a general good attitude is contagious for everybody.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, it's definitely contagious. Even if somebody's having the worst day, they're around somebody with a positive attitude, that you can't help but, I guess, lighten their mood a bit. So Definitely. I would agree with that.
We do things for our guys. Like here recently, we did like a whole house repipe. The house had the old polybutylene gray piping. We went in the house. We repiped the whole thing. We put in PEX from the water service in, the whole thing. When we have good days like that, we get the job done efficiently and everybody worked hard, but we worked good as a team, then we'll say, hey, okay, we got done at 3 o'clock today. Hey, guys, let's go over to Longhorn. So we treat everybody for a steak. We did that not too long ago. We took everybody over to Longhorn. Everybody got a steak. And we had a good productive day, and it helps keep the morale of the team up if we do things like that every once in a while. That's what I've kind of figured out.
Yeah, a little bit of appreciation goes a long way.
Next question is HVAC Shop Talk says, who makes the best podcast besides the Tool Pros podcast?
Mike Rowe, with the way I heard it.
Or HVAC School. I don't know why HVAC Shop Talk would even ask such a crazy question like that.
I don't know.
I'm just joking, man. The guys over HVAC Shop Talk are awesome. Ralph and Zach, we just had them on last episode. So these guys, obviously we love what they're doing. They're great guys. So go check them out. Next question from Cannon Casey. Cannon Casey runs the HVAC Shop Talk Instagram. So that may be 2 questions from him in a row, like in disguise here. Cannon Casey says, what's your favorite tool that KC Tool sells?
Out of the ones I own, probably my Knipex plier wrench, but I have to kind of update on the Knipex automatic wire strippers that I had gotten from them.
Mm-hmm. So what's up with that?
They work, and they work extremely well, and it was definitely user error. What was happening with them was it wasn't stripping. It wasn't, I guess, piercing the sheathing and pulling it back. I was doing it too slow. I guess you have to kind of have a rapid contraction of your hand to be able to pull that trigger. And as soon as I started doing it rapidly, trying to get things done as fast as you can, it strips the wire perfectly every time. The day I was doing all the wiring, and it worked great for me because I was just moving along. I wasn't thinking about it. But when I was actually trying to see how the tool was working, as I was doing it slower. And that's when it kind of screwed up on me. So when I went back to using it all day today, it was working absolutely perfectly, just stripping wires like crazy. So,
well, that's awesome. Now, how did you come to this remedy? Did you try it different ways? Somebody tell you about it? How did you fix it?
I tried it a couple different ways. I kept looking at the tool and closing it slowly, trying to see, is something bound up in there? Is it just not working right? And it wasn't a problem with the tool. It was all the motions, everything was fine. So I said, what if I just kind of sped it up and just as if I was just regular working, not even thinking about the tool. And as soon as I did, everything went back to normal and everything started stripping fine.
That's awesome. So you're saying you just got to kind of stick the wire in there, line it up, and then just pull the handle on it very quickly and then release, and then that'll take care of it.
Yep. It'll release on its own as soon as it's done. Even before you even get a chance to let go of the handle, the jaws have already opened up and you're ready to go. And I think I just wasn't doing it fast enough because ever since all day today, it was working out great.
That's a good thing to hear because I don't know of a bad tool that Knipex makes. There's always something, but that's a good update. I like to hear that.
I was bummed about it, and it worked so great the other day. I don't understand why it's not working now. So I played with it all day today, and it worked out great.
I got the Weehaw pliers wrench that I have from KC Tool that I love. They're really great. I was moved into a new house a while back, 2-3 weeks back, and had some really old junky toilets in here. So I've changed out all 3 of the toilets in my house, and it made it very easy to use, taking off the toilet bolts, things like that. They were fantastic. I used them for all that stuff, and it was great. I got the Weehaw, the 26-in-1. I recently recovered it from being long lost at the church, so I've been using it all week, and it's been great. I'll take a minute to just talk about KC Tool because they're awesome. These guys, they really do their research, and they check out these tools and these products before they post them on there, and they're not going to post a bad product. So you guys, go check them out. Any of the German tools or European-style tools, KC Tool has them. They're straight out of Kansas City. They're an American company, but they are selling European tools, so you still get to support an American company, and you still get to buy your favorite European tools at the same time. So they got brands like Wera, Weehaw, Knipex, Gador, Philo, all kind of great hand tools. So go check them out. Make sure you use the Tool Pros code when checking out, and you'll get 10% off your total order. Let them know we sent you. Now, this is an interesting comment. This next one on Instagram came from Taj Mahal Hardware. You know where Taj Mahal Hardware is?
I don't.
It's at 719 Coney Island Avenue in Brooklyn, New York.
Nice.
Yeah, right down there near you, brother.
Yes, indeed.
So it comes from them. They said a lot of people don't realize that good products cost money. What's the best way to explain to them without hurting their feelings? Being that your team purchases durable and stuff and all. Thanks. How could you explain nicely to someone that a quality tool is more expensive?
I guess the way it was explained to me was more, you want to buy the tool once, if at all possible. You don't want to have to buy it again. Spend a little bit more, get a little bit better quality. Hopefully it'll last you longer, if not last you a lifetime. People who would spend money and get Craftsman screwdrivers when Craftsman was like the big name for DIY stuff. My dad, he still has a set of Craftsman screwdrivers and Craftsman sockets that he paid more money for them, but he still has them. And I remember them from when I was little. Same tools, same toolbox, where you can go to the places like Harbor Freight and it might make you through a couple jobs. It might make you through, a year. I seriously doubt you're going to have it in the long run. I don't know if that's really explaining it, but that's kind of the way I was taught to think about it anyway.
Sure, absolutely. That was my whole reasoning on it. You want to buy it once. You don't want to end up having to buy this tool more than one time. You want it to be durable and you want it to last. And I do know one thing, and I've come across it before, is it's frustrating when you go to a job and you don't have the correct tool to do the job. It's even more frustrating when you go to the job and you start to do the job, but then the tool that you have breaks. That's even more frustrating because at that point you don't have a quality tool to do the job, and it may be your own fault because you cheaped out. I don't know if there's a real easy way to say it. You got to tell them the quality tools are worth the money because they're going to last. You don't want to have to be fooling around with cheap tools while you're trying to get the job done and make some money.
Absolutely.
We'll move on to the Facebook posts here, and we'll talk about some of the questions over here. Daniel Anderson is, what is the new Philpiece vacuum pump all about? Is it really the next best vacuum pump? I feel like Daniel Anderson already knows the answer to this because he is testing the pump also. He's setting us up here, but I've been using this Philpiece vacuum pump now for several weeks now. I'm going on a couple months probably here, and it's been great. Used it for a lot of small stuff because we've done a lot of small refrigeration because it's been wintertime here. So we've been doing a lot of small refrigeration, little reach-in coolers, merchandisers, things like that. So we pulled probably 12, 15 vacuums out of it, and it's been great. Today I did a full residential system with it, and it was great. Wonderful, wonderful vacuum pump. Can't say enough about it. I like the wide stance of it. It's not going to tip over. It pulls the unit down, no problems. I like that you can change the oil on the fly. Has the several ports on the top. I think it has 2 1/4-inch, 1 3/8, and 1/2 inch port on the top, so you don't need a tree or anything like that. I do really think it's top notch, and if I had to buy one, I would buy one in a heartbeat, and I would suggest anybody else out there buy one.
Now, what is the CFM on that pump?
The one I have is an 8 CFM, but they also make a 5 CFM. So they're going to make 2 versions of it. They're going to make a 5 and an 8.
Okay.
Daniel Anderson also asked, what would you look for in pressure probes? How would you decide which is best for you? Okay, so this is a HVAC-related question. What HVAC pressure probes would be good for me or be good for you? What do you think, Billy?
At this point, I feel like I do default to the iConnect probes. Again, it comes down to range for me. I want to be connected. Walking around a commercial space and being able to do other things while being able to still monitor a system. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I mean, are they needed on every job that you're hooking up to? No, but still find them my go-to.
What I would look for in a pressure probe or pressure temperature set would be wireless range. That's the thing. That's what they are. They're called wireless pressure probes. So the number one thing they have to do is give me some kind of wireless range that is substantial that I can use. I'm partial right now. I've been using the Philpiece probes a lot. I still get very good range on them, so I'm enjoying that. But the iConnect is great. The iConnect is still the king as far as the range goes. But lately, the Philpiece has been giving me what I need. That's pretty much it on that. We've talked about the refrigerant pressure probes and all that stuff. We've talked about that over and over and over again.
And I know we default back to the range being one of the biggest keys, but I think one of the other keys is the app in itself. Although I like the Fieldpiece probes, I really do. I'm not too keen on the app just yet, and I think I'm a bit spoiled by the iManifold app. How intuitive and how easy I found that to navigate through. And then visually, it's just, I think it's a nicer of the apps.
The iConnect app is so intuitive, so easy to use. The Fieldpiece app does take a little getting used to, and the Fieldpiece app does need some work. I will admit 100% it needs some work on it. It's still having some hiccups and things that I don't like, and the guys over Fieldpiece are working on it. They are aware of a lot of these issues. That is a software issue. They have great hardware. Their hardware is solid. They have a few software issues, but that could be fixed with a simple app update, something like that.
Right.
Nathan, Bearded HVAC Tech says, what was the very first tool you used and what age? And at what age did you get caught looking at Dirty Tool magazines?
I don't know that I've ever been caught looking at Dirty Tool magazines.
No, I don't think so either.
First tool, probably a hammer. I was probably about 9 or 10 at that point. And I remember because we were all into skateboarding at that point. And it was, how fast can we build a new ramp or a rail slide or something? My dad always had tools laying around the basement. So I think a hammer. And shortly after that, I started using jigsaws pretty fast, cutting out transitions and everything for those skateboard ramps.
Very cool. I would probably say the tool that I associate with my childhood is a blue handle channel locks, because my dad is a plumber, and I think I've said it on here before. My dad's a plumber, and he used to carry them around in his back pocket, and he still does to this day. He carries around his blue handle channel locks in his back pocket. I remember going to work with him at a small age and underneath sinks and things like that, and him handing me those blue handle channel locks, and I'd like to put them in my back pocket thinking I was cool like him. So yeah, I would have to say blue handle channel locks, and I'll be damned if I hadn't bought him a pair of Knipex for Christmas and thinking I was going to change his mind, and nope, still hadn't used it. Man, I opened his door the other day, and I bought him a nice pair of the Knipex pliers wrench so he could use those. I opened the door of his van the other day, and he hadn't even taken the damn tag off of them. I'm like, you stubborn ass old man. But he likes what he likes, man. So I guess I can't fault him for that.
Right.
Daniel says that we should do a session on new underground tools or tools that are made by technicians or kind of small time tools. And I want to save that because I do want to make that its own episode. I'm definitely with that. So I want to make that a full episode by itself. And I want to get you guys to kind of, all you listeners, to submit your ideas and things like that to us if you don't want to keep them secret, or some small tools that you know of or things like that that we can help promote. We'll do a whole episode on that. Michael J. Hush, he says that he heard that the Testo Pros were no longer working with MeasureQuick. Well, I believe Jim Bergman has repaired that. I believe they are working together now, so I don't think there's anything to worry about. He's got that taken care of. And he says, I know it's probably too early, but wondering what the future of MeasureQuick is. Is it going to be paid monthly service, one-time charge? Perhaps it's all speculation at this point. I haven't talked to Jim in a while. We go way back. He's a really good friend of mine. I consider him a friend, but it's been a long time since I've talked to him. I know he's been busy with the MeasureQuick thing and the Redfish.
And the HVAC Shop Talk podcast and the HVAC School podcast.
Exactly. He's been going on all these other podcasts. You know, I wanted to get him on when we could talk about some of the Redfish stuff, but we're definitely going to try to get him to come on here sometime soon. But I do know that the MeasureQuick is going to be kind of like an a la carte service, is what he's always explained to me. And I think that model still stands to this day. So if it works with Testo probes, so to use your Testo probes, you may have to pay a one-time fee to use a specific probe with the MeasureQuick app. So let's just say he gets a Sporlan on board. So in order to use Sporlan, you'll have to pay a one-time fee to use their pressure probes and stuff with the app. So you could use Testo airflow probes with Sporlan pressure probes and then Fieldpiece temperature sensors, pipe clamps or something like that. But each one of those, you would have to pay a fee to use those with them in the app. And that's kind of the way it's been explained to me. And I think that model still stands, and I think he's still working on that same model. Is that the way you understood it, Billy?
That's the way I understood it from the start. I know he went back and forth with exactly how it was going to be. The last I had heard, that was basically the way it was going to play out.
All right. Nathan Orr says, best work pants. Kurt Jackson says a kilt.
Yes. And I'm sorry, but I don't want to see anybody wearing a kilt.
Hell no. No, not at all. That's gross.
I wear Dickies now, but I like my Carhartts. I wore Carhartts for years, and I think those are definitely the best. I would have pants that would last a year. They would just start to fray around the pockets if I had stuff in them. Just start, at going just over a year. So I go back to those. I think the number on them were B11s, Carhartt work pants. They're the washed duck pants. So they're slightly waterproof or water resistant right out of the box. So those are definitely my go-to best work pants. But I guess Nathan's down in Florida, so he'd probably die of the heat wearing those pants.
Yeah, they're pretty thick. That's one thing that I've had a few pair of the Carhartts, and they're very thick, and I could see how they could last a year or so because they're so thick and so durable. I agree. Me personally, like I mentioned a little bit earlier in the podcast, I wear Levi's. They don't hold up. They do not. But they are comfortable as all get out. That's the trade-off that I give here. So I go through a pair of Levi's like every 3 months. I'll get a hole in them. And I usually get a hole in the knee. At that point, I throw them out because I can't be wearing holy jeans around in people's homes and trying to look professional. So I've been trying to find something else that's just as comfortable, that'll last a little longer. I know the guys on Instagram like Eric Ani with Mechanical Hub and R&R Buildings. They're proponents of the True Work gear. I have not tried them. I have no idea how they are. They look pretty nice. They look pretty comfortable. And then also Atlas 46 makes some pants. And they got like a built-in double stitch knee and stuff like that, and a built-in spot in the knee for a knee pad to slide into. So they got some neat features on their pants that I would like to try out too. I'll give those a try, and then I'll definitely let you guys know in the future how I like those.
I'm not a knee pad wearing guy, but I think if those Atlas 46 pants were comfortable, I think I would be more apt to use the integrated knee pad pockets a lot more. I like that idea.
Absolutely. Jeff, I guess it's Jeff Nyman. I'm going to say his name is Jeff Nyman. I probably said it wrong. He says, the Industrial Revolution changed the face of modern novels forever. Discuss, citing specific examples.
I'm not a reader, so...
Largely, industrialization has had little impact on the English or American literature. Charles Dickens had experience of the lives of the poor, which can be seen in the novel like Little Dorrit. I Googled the fool out of that, let's just say that. I know nothing about that. I don't read very much, so I just had to Google it so I could give some kind of answer there.
I was sitting here with my mouth open going, oh my God, how much further is he going to keep going with that?
I had that one ready. I had to Google it so I could say something and sound kind of smart for a minute. Guys, I want to take a minute right here to thank Robinair. They are a great sponsor of this podcast, and without them, we wouldn't be able to make this possible. We thank them very much, and I just wanted to take a minute and highlight some of their new leak detectors they got coming out. They have 3 different models coming out, the LD3, the LD5, and the LD7. I'm excited for all these models because they all have really cool features. The LD3 is kind of a base model unit. It comes with a 2-year warranty. It's made right here in the USA. It's got a 17-inch probe. It's got a real short warm-up time. It works on all common refrigerants, R410A, R22, 134. Even works with R1234YF, which you find in cars nowadays. The sensitivity is down to 0.05 ounces a year. It's got a long life sensor, 10-year lifespan on the sensor, which is crazy and unheard of. Some of these others you got to change out yearly, biannual, stuff like that. This thing will last for 10 years. Seems very cool because I've heard of the infrared and the heated diode, but I haven't heard of this, and I'm excited to try it out and see what it's all about. They also have the LD5. The cool thing about the LD5 is it has a color graphic LCD display on it. So as you're searching for those unique refrigerants, this detectors will do them all. The LD7 has all the features that we've already talked about, plus it has a UV light for detecting injected dye. So that little UV flashlight that you got in your truck, you can throw that away if you buy a LD7 because you already have that built into your leak detector, which is awesome. And it also has a pinpoint graphing mode for displaying leak sizes over a time window. So like over a period of time, you can graph a leak size, which seems so awesome and so cool. I don't know that anybody else on the market can do that today. So guys, if these sound like some interesting features to you, go check out robinair.com. Great company, great people, great products. Go give them a chance. Let them know the Tool Pro sent you. That's all we're going to answer for today. We're definitely going to save those questions that you guys have asked. We'll definitely do another Ask Us Anything in the next couple months. So we'll take these questions and we'll put them at first of the list next time. We thank everybody who contributed to any of these questions. It was awesome. Thank you guys so much. You guys are the best. I really think we have the best listeners out there. Bar none, top of the line guys. We thank you guys for listening. Don't forget, go out and support our sponsors because they support us. KC Tool, Robinair. Go give them some love because they help make this possible. Without them, we wouldn't be here. And then if you like what we're doing, go on iTunes, leave us a review, 5 stars. That's what we really prefer. Anything less, just save your review for somebody else. But we appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Glad you've listened. And I forget almost every time, but guys, go check out the other members of the Blue Collar Roots Network. Service Business Mastery, and then Building HVAC Science, and then, of course, the HVAC School. So go check them out. Awesome podcasts, awesome knowledge from all those guys. I guess that's it for tonight. Well, we appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to the Tool Pros Podcast. The best way to listen to this podcast is by using your smartphone or other web-connected device, and subscribing using the podcast app on Apple devices or the Stitcher app, or Google Store for Android devices. You can find all of the shows on the Blue Collar Roots Network by going to bluecollarroots.com. From all of us at Blue Collar Roots, thank you for listening.